The tribe of Dan set up Micah's graven image which he made all the time that the house of God was at Shiloh. Shophatim, Judges chapter 19. And it was in those days, when there was no king in Israel, that there was a certain Levi sojourning on the farther side of the hill country of Ephraim, who took to him a concubine out of Bethlehem Yehudah. And his concubine played the harlot against him, and went away from him to her father's house, to Bethlehem Yehudah, and was there the space of 4 months. And her husband arose, and went after her, to word upon her heart, to bring her again, having his servant with him, and a couple of donkeys. And she brought him into her father's house. And when the father of the damsel saw him, he rejoiced to meet him. And his father-in-law, the damsel's father, retained him, and he abode with him 3 days. So they did eat and drink, and lodged there. And it was on the 4th day that they arose early in the morning, and he rose up to depart. And the damsel's father said to his son-in-law, Strengthen thy heart with a morsel of bread, and afterward ye shall go your way. So they sat down, and did eat and drink, both of them together. And the damsel's father said to the man, Be pleased, I pray thee, to tarry all night, and let thy heart be merry. And the man rose up to depart, but his father-in-law urged him, and he lodged there again. And he arose early in the morning on the 5th day to depart. And the damsel's father said, Strengthen thy heart, I pray thee, and tarry ye until the day declineth. And they did eat, both of them. And when the man rose up to depart, he and his concubine and his servant, his father-in-law, the damsel's father, said to him, Behold, now the day draweth toward evening. I pray you tarry all night. Behold, the day groweth to an end. Lodge here, that thy heart may be merry, and tomorrow get you early on your way, that thou mayest go to thy tents. But the man would not tarry that night, but he rose up and departed, and came over against Yebus, the same as Jerusalem. And there were with him a couple of donkeys saddled. His concubine also was with him. When they were by Yebus, the day was far spent, and the servant said to his master, Come, I pray thee, and let us turn aside into this city of the Yebusi, and lodge in it. And his master said to him, We will not turn aside into the city of a foreigner, that is not of the children of Israel, but we will pass over to Gabaa. And he said to his servant, Come, and let us draw near to one of these places, and we will lodge in the Gabaa, or in the Ramah. So they passed on, and went their way, and the sun went down upon them near to the Gabaa, which belongeth to Benjamin. And they turned aside thither to go in to lodge in the Gabaa. And he went in and sat down in the street of the city, for there was no man that took them into his house to lodge. And behold, there came an old man from his work out of the field at even. Now the man was of the hill country of Ephraim, and he sojourned in the Gabaa, but the men of the place were Bnei Yemini. And he lifted up his eyes, and saw the way journeying man in the street of the city. And the old man said, Whither goest thou? And whence comest thou? And he said to him, We are passing from Bethlehem Yehudah to the farther side of the hill country of Ephraim. From thence am I, and I went to Bethlehem Yehudah, and I am going to my house, and there is no man that taketh me into his house. Yet there is both straw and provender for our donkeys, and there is bread and wine also for me, and for thy handmaid, and for the young man that is with thy servants. There is no lack of anything. And the old man said, Peace be to thee. Howsoever, let all thy lacks lie upon me, only lodge not in the street. So he brought him into his house, and gave the donkeys fodder, and they washed their feet, and did eat and drink. As they were making their hearts merry, behold, the men of the city, certain base fellows, beset the house round about, beating at the door. And they spoke to the master of the house, the old man, saying, Bring forth the man that came into thy house, that we may experience him. And the man, the master of the house, went out to them, and said to them, Nay, my brothers, I pray you, do not so wickedly, seeing that this man is come into my house. Do not this folly. Behold, here is my daughter a virgin, and his concubine. Them I will bring out now, and humble ye them, and do with them what seemeth good to you. But to this man do not any such folly. But the men would not hearken to him. So the man laid hold on his concubine, and brought her forth to them. And they experienced her, and abused her all the night until the morning. And when the day began to spring, they let her go. Then came the woman in the dawning of the day, and fell down at the door of the man's house, where her lord was, till it was light. And her lord rose up in the morning, and opened the doors of the house, and went out to go his way. And behold, the woman his concubine was fallen down at the door of the house, with her hands upon the threshold. And he said to her, Up, and let us be going. But none answered. Then he took her up upon the donkey, and the man rose up, and got him to his place. And when he was come into his place, he took a knife, and laid hold on his concubine, and divided her, limb by limb, into 12 pieces, and sent her throughout all the borders of Israel. And it was so, that all that saw it said, There was no such deed done nor seen from the day that the children of Israel came up out of the land of Mizraim to this day. Consider it, take counsel, and speak.